This is going to be about morality in One Piece. Luffy is not a hero. That's the title. And the premise around that is how Oda has set up morality in the pirate world, and then morality with the world government, and then morality with the Marines. Because a lot of people
Right.
have these perceptions. A lot of people get angry. Say the Boa Hancock thing. People hate Boa Hancock. They said don't compare Boa to the Straw Hats. Boa is terrible, and the Straw Hats are pure. Luffy has done nothing wrong, and people have said that. And then you hear about Luffy freeing criminals and murderers from Impel Down, and you think, well, that's not right either. And you go to Blackbeard and how everyone is angry at Blackbeard for stabbing Thatch in the back and how it's scummy to do that. But at the same time, we love Doflamingo. So this is a question I want to pose to you. Luffy has always said he's not a hero, and it's for a specific reason. We always hear there's no fair fights in the pirate world, and Luffy understands that. Why do we attach good and evil and clear morality in the pirate world when it's all about what it is they want to do? It's more about your ideals and what you stand for rather than good and evil. And I think that's what Luffy has always been about. You hurt my friends, you hurt someone I care about, we have a problem.
Um, I think it's because people place themselves in those situations, right? An example of when this happened is where I think it was a lot more gray than people wanted to accept is
Yep.
in Invincible with Omni-Man, where the question was, is he a bad father? Right? And I think people looked at that, they put themselves in Mark's shoes, and they were like, ah, duh, he's a bad father. He beat my ass. I was like, well, how was he raised? What are the code of ethics and the code of conduct in his world?
Exactly.
Right? How do they conduct themselves that way? And so with morality in One Piece, it's gray, but I think morality it takes different shapes. And because you have morality that's more descriptive, right? That's based on a set of rules that these people, this set group, they understand this is how we operate. Then you have more normative morality, where it's basically the average rational person would look at it and say this is right and this is wrong.
Right.
So for us, a lot of us, we look at Kid's crew and we say, oh, they're a piece of shit. Right? They kill people. Right? But I think even in One Piece, killing people based on just how the governing body operates, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are reasons in which people die, so just killing people isn't a bad thing. And I think the problem in One Piece and why morality is so gray and why people can't just cast can't just think it's black and white is because of the world government having this descriptive morality. They have exceptions.
Yeah.
Right. And that exception is the celestial dragons. Because of who they are, they get to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So then, because they have exceptions with this descriptive morality, you can't place normative morality on it. Then you have this opposite end of the spectrum, which Kid verbalized in Sabodi, saying, what the fuck? We are angels in comparison to what they do.
Exactly.
Right? We what we do is it pales in comparison to that. So it goes back to like every action has a reaction. And I think once they rid themselves of the celestial dragons, that crazy exception where they can kill people, kidnap people, rape people,
Yep.
they can do whatever they want in regards to whatever they feel like. So at that point, you can't place this morality on everyone else when you're not even following the basic principles of normative morality.
Yep.
Because it doesn't exist in One Piece.
It does.
Even for so I made a video talking about Blackbeard did nothing wrong. Of course, I was being a bit facetious because I think something that's generally accepted is killing a crewmate, right? In any situation, what we've seen is killing a crewmate. That's where everything stops. We don't know the ins and out of Kid's crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that's one rule they have.
Yes.
We can't kill each other, right? For Blackbeard, I would say that's the only thing that I would say is wrong. Of course, saying that he did nothing wrong, that kind of dismisses the code of ethics that Whitebeard had on the crew.
Yep.
Right? where the code of ethics, the one rule, the main rule was don't kill crewmate, right? And Blackbeard did that. Now, when we look at the code of conduct for pirate, right, and we look at it from what's normative and what's generally accepted for pirate, you can say he did nothing wrong, right? He's a fucking pirate. That's what he's supposed to do. But when you look at the descriptive morality and what he was, the governing body and what they set in place, Blackbeard 100% broke that rule. But I think that's where the buck stops.
Yep.
Other than that, even when he met Whitebeard again on the battlefield, at that point, they're two opposing pirates, right? No rules and conditions that had been set in place, like Dorian Broggie, what we think Akainu Aokiji did. There are two opposing pirates meeting on the battlefield. Everything Blackbeard did to get the dub, he was supposed to do.
Yep.
So it's like, for Luffy and his morality is definitely great. I think Luffy is selfish, right?
Very.
But it's from a selfless perspective, because everything he does is doing it for somebody else, but he doesn't care about anybody else, right? So it's like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my friend. I really don't give a fuck about collateral damage.
Yep.
But because he's doing it for a friend, people tend to overlook the effects it has on other people.
Exactly.
And the thing is, we never really see what happens to the other people. The only time we really saw that was in Impel Down, where they're like, all right, all these people got away, right? And we can't say anything. Now they have a bunch of people that's supposed to be erased from the world. They're roaming around free.
Yep.
Right. And that's one of the main instances we have. But is Luffy a hero? I think he does have. I think he falls into somewhat of the hero category. I mean, just because he doesn't care about it doesn't mean he's not a hero. I think he's the hero of the story, right? Does he want to be a hero? No, but I mean, he's done more heroic acts in the story than pirates, right? Because he's not the typical pirate. So he's the exception, and therefore he kind of, I think he has to accept. I mean, he doesn't have to accept it, but painting him as a hero, I don't think is the wrong thing to do. I mean, he's going around saving people, bringing light to the world. That's typically what heroes do.
You know, I like that answer a lot, because when you were talking about normative morality, that's something that really frustrates me when people talk about the Straw Hats and One Piece. You know, this is something that I've recently started to believe, and Arlong has become a character I've loved to talk about ever since we revisited Fishman Island and Fisher Tiger. And I always pose people this question, because we sympathize with what Nami went through, and it's terrible. But after we saw Fishman Island and we saw what they went to, what fishermen were subjected to, I ask everyone this question: why should Arlong give a fuck about humans? Why should Arlong care about humans at all in any capacity?
She shouldn't.
He should not.
He should not. Arlong should not give a fuck about humans. If I was Arlong, I would do the same thing. And I would feel the same way, right? Exactly. It's like in that setting, with everything I went through in the One Piece world, of course we got to remove the real world logic. In the One Piece world, right? I'm a fisherman. I've been mistreated. See everything that Fisher Tiger went through. Otahima. It's like so many different things. At that point, I want revenge. I want to take it out on somebody. So I find this village, and I'm going to be the fucking meanest, most just terrible person.
Disrespectful.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to make you feel just a bit of how we felt. Make you feel like animals. Like how we felt, force you to do things that you don't want to do, like how I felt.
Yep. Right?
Because the fishmen, they've been subjugated to so many different things. I think I saw a theory posted how many different panels there are of Straw Hats being saying things like calling fish mutant.
Yeah.
Saying
half
a
fish, man.
A half fishman. You have no way. You have no reason to fight an actual human.
Zoro, right? That Zoro panel's notorious. Zoro's pretty racist to them fishmen, man.
Right. So it's. But this is just what was generally accepted.
Yep.
This is how people viewed fishmen. They were not. They were like they weren't accepted as equals.
Exactly.
You know. So it's. So while I think what Arlong did is generally wrong, right, from a rational standpoint, I can't act like I don't, not necessarily sympathize. I can't act like I don't understand why he did it, right? And I think that's what we always ask for. Like, what's the reasoning behind it? It wasn't out of nowhere. He didn't do it for no reason.
Yep.
He did it because of how the fishermen had been mistreated and still continue to be mistreated.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think the difference is with Arlong in particular, and I also said this as well. In some ways, Arlong is actually a fisherman hero, because think about how he talked about his brothers, the people that he went around with. When it comes to a fisherman, Arlong will never disrespect a fisherman.
He doesn't play that. Yeah.
He doesn't play that. He's always uplifting. When they beat up a grunt fodder, Arlong was incensed. Who put their hands on my brother? A grunt. So I'm like, you're looking into Arlong's mindset where he's extremely violent with humans. But with fishmen, he's like, absolutely not. It's only uplifting. So again, I tie this in with Luffy because Luffy's the same way. Whatever Luffy cares about, he'll go above and beyond to make sure it's free and it's able to do what it needs to do. You know, whether it's a country, a damsel in distress, whether he wants to eat, he'll do whatever. Arlong, it's very similar. Now, Arlong's a villain. He messed with Nami. We love Nami. So obviously he's a villain. He killed people, killed Belmare. We can't forget that. But with this morality stuff, I need people to understand that you can't dismiss certain characters based on their bad mannerisms if you don't take into the context of what they've gone through. It's like the pirate world. Big Mom. Like Big Mom said, even pirates have standards. To me, I was shocked by that. But at the same time, she's not wrong. Luffy's hanging around with Kid. Kid murders people. Luffy's out here teaming up with Kid, buddy with a murderer. Let's not forget that. Kid is a cold-blooded murderer. His bounty is more about his heinous acts and crimes, crucifying people. But we love Kid, and we teaming up with Kid. Kid is great. Yay! Blackbeard stabs Thatch in the back because he wants a devil fruit. He's wanted for 20 years. He's the worst person we've ever seen in our lives.
But yeah, now the thing is, like, even with Blackbeard doing that, I think out of everything, like, when we talk about heinous acts, right? Again, in that setting,
you're stabbing your alleged brother in the back.
I'm sorry, brother.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my nigga.
It is what it is.
I'm sorry.
You just found the wrong one, bro.
Hey, the thing is though, I'd probably approach it like, bro, you probably should give me that devil fruit.
Yeah, I'm right? Listen. You got two choices.
Listen,
give me
I've been looking for this devil fruit for decades. You probably should give it to me. And he's like, nah. You know what the rule is? If you find a devil fruit, you gotta keep it. All right, fam. All right.
He don't say nothing too. He's like, all right, I got you. He just go away.
You know what I'm saying?
He just go away.
You know what I'm saying? Wait till that nigga taking his shit.
Hit him with the Tyrion. The
Tyrion It's over for you, cook. Really, he's a cook, right? I think the nigga was a cook. Yeah, nigga.
Sanji, bro.
Get this nigga out of here, bro. You wasn't gonna do shit with it anyway.
You wasn't gonna do nothing. You're not built like me anyway. Yeah.
We're brothers, right? We're brothers.
Yeah, we're brothers. Oh my goodness. Nah, so it's definitely an interesting conversation because then if you look at the Marines, their justice is meant to be very black and white. But again, that exception you were talking about, that big exception.
It's a huge exception.
Aokiji saw it at Ohara, and Aokiji's like, if I kill this little girl, bro, like I am evil. Him. He's like, I'm evil if I kill this little girl. Yeah. You know what I
mean? Like Aokiji being the fiery person that he used to be. After that, it was like, like what are we fighting for here?
He had to kill his friend. Him and Saul were good friends.
Yeah, it comes to a place where you look at the Marines and throughout the story, like it's evident now, right, that the Celestial Dragons, they're the great enemy. They're the person that we're fighting against. Yeah. And the Marines, they fight for them. But then Oda puts pockets of light within that darkness. But then he puts like this border, this thing that you look at and you're like, I don't know about that. Yeah. And that's Akainu, right? People like Akainu, where he's a great Marine because he fights for justice. Yep. But Akainu, he typically doesn't mind going too far, right? But because it's in the name of justice, it's generally accepted. But when you look at it, a lot of the shit he's doing, you could say it's wrong, right? Even if you can say abandoning the battlefield, right? That's something that you don't do. It's punishable by death. right? Typically, it's a certain way that you kill them. Like you don't execute them on the spot,
Like at least
right?
put the man in prison, court martial the nigga.
He's
Like, come
carrying
on.
it out the way he sees
Yeah.
fit. It is
Yeah.
extreme absolute justice, right? And of course, going back to how they kind of succumb to the celestial dragons and do anything they want to do, right? Shirahoshi almost got kidnapped in front of everyone, and nobody could do anything.
Nobody, yeah.
They could just watch.
And these are kings, queens.
All they could do is watch,
bro.
You know, and it's and then if I'm seeing that, and you know, there's a bunch of slaves underneath Marijoa, just it's like if I'm seeing that, bro, how can you as a Marine try to step to me because I raided another pirate ship? I raided a fucking bar. Yeah. Nigga, if you don't get the fuck out of my face,
bro, you got slaves. What are you talking? I'm just trying to eat.
Got slaves still to this day.
To this day.
And let's not get started about what y'all did 800 years ago.
Bro.
Right? So it's like when for people, that's why you can't tell the people of the history. Because the more people know about that shit, they're like, hold on.
It's like this government is, wait a minute.
This is what this, oh nah.
Yeah.
Then they start going on the side of the pirates. Then they start rallying behind Luffy. Then it's like, okay, we have a real uprising.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Then you go back to morality. How do the revolutionaries, how do they function? Are they allowed to kill? Right?
Yeah.
What if they stumble upon a Marine? Can they kill that Marine? It's like it comes down to, I think, morality. You can't paint a broad brush, especially in One Piece, because it's set up that way.
Yeah,
it's set up that way,
and I think it's beautiful. And I think that's this conversation really ties into what we just got with Jinbei and Who's Who as well, because with the fisherman racism that they deal with, what I was mentioning to my chat is that racism is a system of power. It's implemented for the purpose of spreading a philosophy to the people that don't really think for themselves, people that you're ruling over. So when you view a fisherman, you think you're below me, and it gives you power. Right. But it also gives the world government power over them to control how they think. This is what you should do because you know it's right. Oh, they're right. I have power over fishermen because they're lower than me. So that's when you get the fisherman slavery, you get the disrespect, they're under the surface, they can't come to the surface.
It becomes generally accepted.
And it becomes generally accepted. And the funny thing is the pirates are supposed to be the evil ones. The Marines are supposed to be the good. To the general populace, pirates are bad, Marines are good. Mm-hmm. But the people are racist to fishermen. The Marines, they just follow the world government's order, but again, they're racist to fishermen. So here Jinbei is. All he wants is peace. But he has to deal with racism. He's dealing with another pirate who's racially abusing him as well. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing this moral conflict, which is everywhere. So to me, there's no moral consistency in One Piece. It's about ideals, philosophies, and situations, and how you can push your philosophy and how you think about onto the other. At the end of the day, it's agendas, and Luffy's agenda is freedom.
It's freedom, but Luffy's agenda is it's anarchy.
It's very it's right? Anarchy.
Because what true freedom and what Luffy wants doesn't really exist.
Yep.
Right? It cannot exist. It cannot be allowed to exist because that leads to too many issues. Mm-hmm. True freedom means no governing body, no real restrictions, right? That's the freedom that Luffy dreams about. Yep. Right? But I think Luffy's freedom is just about doing whatever I want to do.
Yes.
Sailing the world and having fun with my friends. Where for pirates, the world government, they can't allow that to happen.
Yep.
Right. That's why I'm interested to see how that plays out in the future once once the world governments were formed, with Smoker and Fujitora and Kobe. You can't make an exception for just Luffy.
You can't.
Right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
you have to outlaw all pirates.
You have to rule the world with order. Pirates is the definition. Being a pirate is the definition of being chaotic. You don't follow any order. You don't follow any rules. No matter what you say, you cannot allow humans to be unmanaged, or at least not be in some sort of order, or it'll literally be chaos.
It'd be chaos. So we'll see how that plays out, but Luffy's freedom, it's no compass. It's just him being him. And I think that's why he's so dangerous, is because he just goes with the wind, right? Of course, he goes with the log pose, goes where it takes him, and he doesn't really, um, it's like it's really hard to sway Luffy off his moral stand, right? What's his moral stand just depends on who he likes and if they can feed him.
Yep.
Right? It's very simple. It's very simple for Luffy. Remember when Luffy's about to fight Zoro because he hurt the people that fed him.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like Luffy, a very simple person. That's why you have, people around him to kind of guide him and nudge him in the way he should go. But it's but when you try to, encapsulate freedom and what that's going to be, it's hard to have someone like Luffy exist, because of course, like, he represents freedom in all aspects, but at some point that is going to be restricted, because that can't exist with what the world government wants. It can't exist with how the world needs to be governed, because Luffy, for all intents and purposes, is the exception. The common pirate is what Eustace Kid is. That's what most pirates do, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how that goes. But freedom, it's a huge theme of One Piece. That's why the destiny and all that stuff is, people are turned off from it. But hey, man, that's how it's been since the beginning.
It's been like that. Yeah, I keep telling people.
Been.
Destiny has been a part of One Piece from the very beginning.
That's how it's been. Even in the first chapter, it mentions destiny. The first chapter.
Matter of fact, Dragon and that speech in Logtown. Bro, all he was talking about was destiny. Like, why do people?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it wasn't as overt, right? It wasn't as obvious. I think people were in their mind, they were hoping that it would be a different route, and it wouldn't have to be connected in this way. But I think it's all been connected. I think, well, people say, I saw someone say no tension. I think there can be destiny with tension, right? Because you can have things can be destined for you and you cannot achieve them. So I think with Luffy, his destiny is to be this person, be the person that has the weight of the world on his shoulders and carry them and change the world. But he has had to do all these things, all those decisions he made, he had to make them himself. Those were not manipulated by anyone. Those were the decisions that Luffy made himself. He had to follow through with all these things. Of course, he was aided throughout his journey, but Luffy had to do these things. I don't think his freedom is compromised in any way. I do understand why people could be apprehensive, right? And I'm myself, I'm apprehensive with where it could go, but I think so far it's fine.
Yeah. Yo, everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel, or also check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.